All right. So already we have looked into this. If it is a element, just the HTML element as a selector, you will have that particular element here. So example, EMP are there, and inside you will have a declaration block consisting of different property value pairs. Okay, so whatever the styles you want to incorporate, you will use, you will put that inside the two curly braces. Okay, so that is a element. Similarly, if you want to have like a group of elements which have the common style, you can group them with the separated by comma. So you can see the example here. P, div, and aside will have a margin of 0 and padding of 0. So whatever is a common, you can use the group selectors. And one of the most useful property of the grouped selector is like, if you don't want to, if you want to have a page which will not have any kind of a default browser defaults, okay, then what you can do, you can reset. So you don't want to have any kind of a browser defaults, you can initially run this, and it will override whatever the browser defaults are there, and you will set your own reset page. So basically it will reset, and after that you will use other styles to define these things. Suppose here h1, h2, all these things are reset like this, and later you can have h1, how you want to display the header 1, header 2, you can define in your styles. Class selectors, we looked into this. If you want to create a class selectors, the what is the how it is used, it is there will be a period dot, then name of the class, and followed by the pair of curly braces. Inside that you will have the property and value pairs, and wherever you use this class, it is applicable to that particular part of the HTML document. Similar to class, this is the example, we already looked into that. You can see here, this is a class selector dot first. Name of the class is first here. So you can choose any name you want. So if it is starting with a dot or the period, then it will be considered as a class selector. And in any HTML part, any element, you can use that particular class. So you can say class is equal to first, and whatever the style you have mentioned here, that will be applied to that HTML tag. Similarly, ID, it is very similar to class. In case of a ID, if you want to create a ID, you have to use the hash. Okay, hash or the pound sign followed by the name of the tag. You can see here hash, and the name of the ID is latest comment, and this is how the style you want to have for this ID, and you can use that ID whichever. Suppose in this example, for div, they have used the ID is equal to the name of the ID, whatever the name it is specified. Then for this particular div, for that div as well as all its descendants, whatever comes inside, this style will be applicable. Okay, ID versus class selectors, we looked into that last class. ID is like where you want to have one instance, like for one HTML you want to have a certain type of a style, you will use ID, and if you want to use it multiple places, you will use the class. Attribute selectors, we can also use the attributes. So example title, and you have this style here. Wherever you see that title attribute, this particular property will be applied here. For example, here for this image, we have a title attribute. When we have the title attribute, this particular style is applied. So cursor is held. Okay, this example we saw in the previous class. Similarly, there are three more elements having a title attribute for which this particular style, whatever is defined here, is applied. Then pseudo selectors, we looked into a pseudo selector, a link for the link. Whenever we have a particular link, it will be shown with a certain color blue, and when that link is visited, means that link is clicked, it color will change to purple. And if you just move on top of that particular link, when you do the hover, it will turn into bold. And when that click is active, when the click is active, you will see the yellow background. So this example also we saw in the last class. Next is the contextual selectors. Today we'll see the contextual selectors, how it is done. So it selects the elements based on the ancestors, descendants, and siblings. What is ancestors? Means parent, grandparent, great grandparent. So that structure is called as ancestors. Okay, for a particular tag. So the parent, grandparent, great grandparent, that is the ancestors. And descendants means what? For a parent, you will have a child, okay, grandchild, great grandchild. So uh, n number of levels. Those are called as a descendants. And siblings. What are siblings? Siblings are the child to the same parent. So those are called as a siblings. Based on this, we can have the selector. Those are called as a contextual selectors. Contextual selector in CSS3, also called as combinators, allow you to select elements based on their, okay, ancestors, descendants, or siblings. That is, it selects elements based on their context or their relation to their elements in the document tree. So based on the context, means based on the relation, we can have the particular selectors, or and you can apply the particular style. Here you can see the selector descendant, and what it will do, it matches a specified element that is contained somewhere within another specified element. When you use the descendant as a selector, uh, uh, wherever, like, you have the parent, and descendant can be at any level. Okay, it can be child, grandchild, great grandchild, or it can go on like that. Wherever it is present inside this parent, then it, whatever the style specified will be applied. How it is used is, you can have this div space p. This is one example. They have a division HTML tag space, then we have the paragraph. What is the meaning of this is, once we have the div, okay, inside the div, wherever the p is there, suppose if p is there as a child or a grandchild or great grandchild, or it is much deeper than that, it will apply this. Okay, if you have used div space p, any p that is present inside the div, it will be applied with the particular style which you have selected. So selects a p element that is contained somewhere within div element, that is the p can be any dissident, not just the child. So need not be just the child, it can be anything, just it has to be inside that div, then it will apply this. We will see the example. Okay, so this is for the descendant. Suppose just for the child you want to have a certain style, then what you can do, you can use this child, a specified element that is a direct child of the specified element. So how it is specified is, how the selector is specified: div greater than sign, or the closing angle bracket, then h2. So what the meaning of this is, it selects h2 element that is a child of div. Okay, suppose you have a div, and after the div immediately you have a h2 tag, and you have some text. So it will apply that style to this, because h2 is a direct child. Let's say h2 is a grandchild, in the sense, let's have, we have a div, and inside the div I have p, and inside the p I have h2. Now the relation between div and h2 is like a parent and the grandchild. So here it is a grandchild. That time it will not apply that style, so it has to be the child div, and immediately inside the div we should have the HTML tag, then it will apply this whatever the specified style you want to apply, you can apply. And next one is adjacent sibling. For sibling there are two options: adjacent sibling and general sibling. What is meaning of adjacent sibling is, both tags here, we have h3 plus p, so we use the sign, plus sign for the adjacent sibling. What is the meaning of this is, H3 and P are the both are child to the same parents. Let us say we have a div. Okay, inside div I have H3, and immediately followed by H3 I have the another child P. Okay, if that is a true, then H3 plus P, whatever style you have applied, it will be applied to this paragraph. So specified element, that is the next sibling that comes directly after of the specified element. So I have division, inside that H3 is there, then P is there, then it will apply. Suppose you have H3, and let's say after H3 you have H4, and then you have P. Even though this H3, H4 and P are child of the same parent, even though it is sibling, it is not the adjacent sibling. So we have H3, H4 and P. That time it will not apply the style. Okay, you can see H3 plus P selects the first P after any H3. So it has to be immediately after the H3. General sibling means it can be anywhere, as long as it is a it is child of the same parent, it will apply the style. A specified element that shares the same parent as a specified element. H3 tilde P. What is the meaning of H3 tilde P? Means H3 and P are, they are child to the same parent, and uh, first we will have H3, and after that it can be at any level. If we have P, then it will apply that style. Selects all the P elements that share the same parent as the H3. We will see the example, then we'll come to know about this, how it is. Okay, descendant selectors. Okay, descendant selectors selects all elements that are contained within another element. Okay, while some of the contextual selectors are used relatively infrequently, almost all web authors find themselves using descendant selector. So descendant selector is most commonly used. A descendant selector matches all the elements that are contained within another element. The character used to indicate descendant selection in the space character. Okay, you can see the example here. I have a div here, that is the context, space P, so paragraph. So this is a descendant selector. What is the meaning of this? Is like inside the div, wherever the P is present, it will apply the this style, whatever the style you have defined. Selects P element somewhere within div element. It can be anywhere, but it has to be inside the div. This is another example. I have hash main. So hash is what? It is a ID. Okay, I have a ID called main space. I have div. Okay, then I have a space. Then I have the P. Okay, so this is the descendant. So uh, uh, inside main I have div, and inside div I have P, and I have given a property as first child. So whichever is the first child, it will apply. Okay, whatever the rules you have set. Selects the first P element somewhere within the div element, that is somewhere within a element with an ID main. So I have main, and inside main somewhere there is a div, and inside div there is somewhere there is a first P. So for that first P, it will apply this particular style. So this example we will see. So in this example, just we'll go through this. Then I have the code. I will show you that. So I have a body here. Body starts here. Body ends here. Inside body, from here to here, I have a block. Okay, nav is used for as a container where you want to have all the link navigation. Then inside nav I have ul, that is unordered list. Inside ul I have list items li. Okay, 1 2 3 are the li, and I have a link inside each list item, that is a, and href is equal to hash, and for Canada, Germany and United States. What is the meaning of href is equal to hash? What is the meaning of href is equal to hash inside the double quotes?
So the link will not go anywhere. It will like get you back to the main page.
Okay, okay. Ketan, very good. what it will do is, it link will not navigate outside the page. Actually, hash means it goes to the top of the page. That is correct. Okay, I have three links here, and after that you can see I have a div. Okay, the div starts here and div ends here, and div I have given id is equal to main, so it has a main id. And inside the div, okay, without any p, okay, I have some text comments as of, then I have time html element, and inside that I have a November 15 2012 text is there, and this is closing time tag. And okay, so this is the opening. Okay, inside the div another div is there, so this div starts here and that div ends here. Okay, inside this div I have text, and I have one more division, so this division starts here, it ends, then I have a hr. Okay, so this will basically, it will produce a line, and inside the div I have two paragraphs. Okay, p, and inside this paragraph there is a time html element, and there is another paragraph, okay, with some content. And there inside the main division I have one more division with again two paragraphs. And in the footer, so this main division ends here, the footer again I have two links. Clear? You can see two more links are there, home, browse, and it will reference to hash, means the same page, it will go to the top. This is the close of the footer and close of the body. So this is the html part. And in this the css, what we have is, we have ul space a colon link, and color is blue. What is the meaning of this? Wherever there is a ul, okay, ul, inside ul there is a descendant a. Okay, descendant, you can see inside ul I have li, and inside li I have a. So that's a link. If this is true, then the color would be blue. So this 1 2 3, this will be shown in a blue color. That is the meaning. And I have one more selector definition. I have selector rule, hash main time color red. What is the meaning of this? Inside the hash main, so I have hash main, inside the hash main, wherever there is a time, it should be shown as red. So you can see this is the id main, so it starts from here, div ends here. Inside this main, wherever there is a time as a descendant, you can see div is here, and here it is time is available as a child, time is child to div, so it will apply red color. Again, we have inside main I have one more division, inside that I have p, and inside that I have time, so it will apply the red color here. Similarly, there is one more division, inside that p and inside that time. So basically this means when you have the space, it is just the descendant. If time tag is available anywhere inside the main, it will apply the color is equal to red. And I have one more rule. So this is one rule inside the main. If time is there as a descendant, then apply the color as red. I have one more rule here, hash main greater than. What is the greater than means? It is a child. If main has a child as a time, it will be shown as a purple. So what we'll do is, this particular rule will override this. Okay, why the reason for that is, this main is there, we have main, and inside that this particular time is a child, this is child to this main, so it will be shown as a in purple color. And this rule gets overridden by this particular rule. And but if you see here, this particular is maybe it is a grandchild or great grandchild. Okay, that's why it has applied as a red. If inside div there is a time available as a direct child, it will be applied with the purple color. Okay, and I have one more rule here, inside main, inside the main id, if div is present anywhere, okay, and inside the div P is present anywhere. The first child means first P inside the div would be colored as green. So you can see here, this is the main, and main has a div. Inside there is a div, and the first child. Okay, if you see in the div there are two P's. Okay, right, there are two P's. This rule applies only to this particular text by Ricardo on. This will be shown as green. Similarly, inside the main I have div, and inside that the first child P, okay, P will be applied with a green color. Okay, I hope you understood. And this particular link is applicable to this also, because what is the rule here? UL having a descendant A. UL having a descendant A will be colored with a blue color. Okay, we'll see the code. This is attribute context. Okay. Okay, so this is the same code, whatever you saw it on the PPT. So all these things, okay, that you can put it in a CSS file, or you can put it in a style inside the head. That is how I have done. I have put all that rules in a style inside the head. So this is head, starts here, it ends here. Inside the head I have style and closing style, and this is the contextual. All are the contextual selectors. UL space A colon link color blue, same thing, whatever is defined here, same thing I have used. And in the body, okay, already I explained the HTML. Inside the body, same thing, there is no change at all. Okay, same thing has been used, href. Okay, and similarly we have footer, and inside the footer we have two more links. So I will load this page. Okay, this is the context underscore selectors underscore CSS HTML. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So the body starts here. This head part, there is no representational things are here. Body starts here. NAV, no representation. UL, so it is a unordered list. The LI, three links. You can see here, the Canada, Germany, and United States. Those are the three links. So for this, what rule will apply? The first one. It says any link that is available as a descendant of UL will be colored blue. So A is a descendant of UL. So it is actually a grandchild. UL has a child called LI. LI has a child called A. So it is a grand child of a UL. But any descendant, it can be child, great grand child. Any descendant will have this particular style applied. Okay, then after that link, after the link we have div. Okay, and inside the div id main I have comments. So this particular comment, there is no p tag. We did not use any kind of a p tag, so there is no rule will be applied to this particular thing. That's why you can see this is a default style. Whatever default the browser has, that will be shown. The next one, inside a div I have a time is a child of a div. For that we have a rule. Okay, and what is that rule? Okay, we'll go back again. So if time is available as a child of main, what color will be applied? Yellow. That's why we have yellow here. Clear? So this time is child, but the other times there are this time is actually it is a great grand child of main. It will have different rule. So you can see here, if time is present as a descendant of main, then color would be red. So you can see this is one more time. Okay, this is deep inside the main. This is another time which is also deep inside the main. And we have one more rule inside the main. Anywhere div is present, and inside the div anywhere p's are present, but the first for the first p first child we will apply the color as green. So we'll go back and see the rule again here. Okay, here inside the main I have div. Okay, and inside the div I have two childs. Okay, but the first child, this is the first child by Ricardo on, this is the complete thing. Okay, by Ricardo will be shown as red, but because we have a rule for this time, okay, time inside the main as a red, the that part will be shown as red and this part will be shown as green. Similarly, for the second line there is no rules specified or no style specified. It will show, it will be shown with the default browser style. Whatever the browser wants to, has the style, it will be shown as a default style. And again we have main div and the first child, the second one. Okay, this is also shown as green, and second paragraph is shown with a default value, and home and browse, those are the footer. It applies the rule ul space a colon link as a blue. That is the first rule. So inside any link that is present inside the ul will be shown as color blue. So that is how it is shown. Any questions? So that is how we show the contextual selectors. You can use, there are four options. One is descendant, okay, and you can use the when you are using a descendant, two option. Either you can as a descendant child or great grandchild, any level of a descendancy, or you can use it for the just for the child. So div space p, div greater than p, that is the just only applicable to the parent. Okay, this is just only this is div space p descendant. Div greater than h2, it is applicable to a child and adjacent sibling. You can try out this thing, okay, as a exercise. H3 plus p means it is for the sibling. So sibling, this in case of a adjacent sibling, p should be present after, immediately after h3. And in this general sibling, h3 after h3, p should be present anywhere at any level irrespective of their position. If they are parent to the if they are child to the same parent, then this particular rule will be applied. Okay, now because we are providing different levels of giving the styles, there can be a conflict. A conflict in the sense, just for example, in the previous example, we saw we have two styles here, right? One is hash main time, and this is a descendant, and this is a child. And here there is a conflict, right? For the time, I have two definition. So there is a some way we have to resolve this conflict in this particular case. So one of the example we will see that whenever there we have more specific styles, those styles will be applied. So in this case, this is very specific. When you say descendant, child, grandchild, great grandchild, anybody is applicable. But when you have a this rule, this is very specific. It says when time is present as a child, then you should apply the color. When we have very specific rules, then it will apply the specific rules first, then it goes for the generic rules. In this case, it is very specific. That's why this particular text is shown in the purple color, not in the red color. Okay. So why conflict happens? There are three different types of style sheets. One is author created, user defined, and default browser style sheet. So these are the different styles we can have. So that's why there is a very high chance that there is a conflict. So author created style sheets can define multiple rules for the same HTML element. So we already saw the author created. We can have multiple rules okay, for the same, which will have an impact on the same HTML element. CSS has a system to help the browser determine how to display elements when different style rules conflict. So how it is done, we will see. The word cascade in CSS refers to how conflicting rules are handled. The visual metaphor behind the term cascade is that of a mountain stream progressing downstream over the rocks. Okay, so it is like a cascade. It will follow. So it is, we call it as a cascading effect, right? One event turning on the second, and the second the third. That is a cascading effect. So that is the meaning of the cascade. The downward movement of a water, like how the water will flow from top to bottom. This is the downward movement of a water, like how the water will flow from top to bottom. That way, the styles will be applied for the HTML elements. Okay, so CSS uses the following cascade principle to help it to deal with the conflicts. How the conflicts are handled? The CSS has its means of inheritance. First is the inheritance, then specificity. Okay, what I just talked about earlier example for the time. If certain rule is very specific, that is very specific, then that particular rule is applied. First comes the inheritance, then specificity, and the location where it is present. We are going to see all of those with the examples. First one is the inheritance. So there are certain properties, okay, not all the properties, there are certain properties that are inherited. So whenever we give any kind of a style to a parent, automatically some of the attributes will be inherited to the child. For example, I have a div. Okay, a div is a larger content, or you can say body is a larger content. Inside the body I will have so many tags, divs, paragraphs, links, everything will be there. They become a child. So if I define certain style for the body HTML tag, so which is a parent, automatically some of the properties are inherited by all the child inside. So that is the meaning. Okay, many but not all CSS properties affect not only themselves but their descendants as well. Means their child. Descendant is like all the child, grandchild, great grandchild, the whole number of levels that can carry, but it is inside that particular parent. And what are the different properties that are inherited? If a certain property you have set for the parent, for let's say example for the font, color, list, and text properties, those are inherited. And what are, there are certain properties that are not inherited by the child HTML tags. Those are like layout. If you have specified some kind of a layout, then sizing, border, background, and spacing properties. These kind of properties are not inherited. What are inherited? Like font, color, okay, text properties, things like that. So we will see the example. Here we have a page. Okay, inside the page we have HTML tag. We have head. Inside the head I have meta tag and title tag. And after that I have body. After the head I have the body, and inside the body I have header 1, header 2. Okay, then I have a paragraph, and inside the paragraph I have a link, okay, with a strong HTML tag. And also inside the body I have image. Then after that I have h3. And after that I have div, and inside the div I have two paragraphs. And in the first paragraph I have time. Inside the second division, okay, there is one more division which is child to the body. Okay, all these are siblings. So whatever you see at this level, they are all siblings. When it goes to the next level, so it is a child. So we have div has a child p, and p has a child time. Similarly, div, two paragraphs. Inside the first paragraph I have a time as the child, and I have one more paragraph, and inside that I have small HTML tag. And if you see here, for the body we have defined the style. And what is the style we have defined? Font family Arial. So when you say Arial, this body consists of so many child, okay, grandchild and great grandchild. Whatever the font family that is selected Arial, it is inherited by all these elements. And second, color is inherited by all these elements. And also it has a border and margin are not inherited. Okay, you'll see the code for this. Okay, I have a inherit underscore css. I will show the code first. I will close this. Okay. Okay. Sorry. You can see this is simple. This is inherit. Okay, so this is also, it talks about certain other things, how we can inherit also this particular example. In this particular HTML, what we have is um, title is there, inheritance. Inside the style, I have div. Okay, div is a larger container, and inside the div, I have font weight as bold, margin as 50 px, border is 1 point solid green. I think I may not have this particular example. Okay, so I have the next example. I will show that. So you can see the output here. Okay, uh, the color and the font. So you can see it is applied to all. The color is red. You can see that clearly it is visible, and also the font is Arial. So you can see like all the text font is very similar. So it has applied these two properties to all of its child. And if you see the body, the only body has the border. You can see this border. Okay, border is 8 point solid green. You can see 8 point solid green, and there is also margin. Margin is provided, that is 100 pixels. These two properties are not applied to any of the child inside the body. Okay, so that is this particular HTML shows these two properties are inherited and these two properties are not inherited by the child elements. Okay, we have the next example. I have a code for this. Next example, it is possible to tell elements to inherit properties that are normally not inheritable. So also I told like by default, some properties are inherited, some properties are not inherited. But let us say you want to inherit those properties, you can do that. So in the same example, div, we have bold and margin and border are there. By default, the whatever the child that are present inside the will not inherit this particular margin or the border. What is the border? We have 1 point solid green. So there would be whenever we have division, we will have a border with a 1 point as a solid green line. Suppose let us say all the paragraph inside the div. Suppose there are paragraph inside the div. I want to inherit, by default it will inherit this font weight will be bold. So in that paragraph, whatever the text is shown, by default it will be shown as bold, but it will not have this margin or the border. Suppose if you want to inherit, what you will say, border colon inherit and margin colon inherit. What it will do is this will take the property from the div. Okay, because div is its parent, it will take these properties and apply. And if you see this HTML tag, HTML side, we have h3 text review. I have division. Inside division, two paragraphs are there, some text is there, and similarly one more division is there. Inside that I have paragraph. So for this div, so you can see h3 reviews, it is displayed. And after that, div has a margin of 50 pixels, and then we have a border, okay, solid green 1 point, and then whatever is text inside, it will be bold. So this paragraph and this paragraph are this inside this division. So you can see, even because you are inherited border and the margin for the paragraph, it will have that particular margin, and it will have the a border of green line, and also the text is bold. So you can see this is the first division and this is the second division. Okay, I will show this code. That is inherit. This is the page. Okay, and this is the code. Okay, you can see here. So this is the style div, and P is inheriting the non-inheritable properties, and here we have the reviews h3. This is the review, and inside that I have div. For div, this particular, whenever I use div, okay, for this div, it will apply this. For this is the div, it will has a margin of 50 pixels, and then it has a border. Okay, and inside text would be bold, and inside div I have P. Okay, normally P will not inherit margin and the border, because I have forced it to inherit. It will have the same, so it will have the 50 pixel margin, and then it will have the bold. You can see it for the both of them. Okay, so we have class first here. Maybe it's just I copied the code. It will not, when it doesn't find the ID, it will not make any changes. Even if I remove, there won't be any changes. Just I will remove that. I just saved, and I will reload the page. Okay, you can see. Now let us say you don't want to inherit certain thing. Okay, what I will do is inside P, I don't want to inherit, let's say border. Okay, let the margin be there. I will remove the border. Now we'll see what happens. Okay, you can see what happened. It has maintained the margin 50 pixels, but it removed the border, because by default border is not inherited. By default font is inherited. Okay, if I say here, let's say instead of okay, apart from font, I will also use font style. I will say font style colon italic. Okay, so I added one more property which will be inherited by the paragraph. So right now it is only bold. I added one more property to the div, which is, it will make it as italic. So even that will be inherited by the paragraph. So I will save this, and I will refresh. So you can see here, now it has inherited margin. Okay, because we asked it to inherit. Margin colon inherit. Inherit is the keyword that you will use. So it will take this margin from here. Clear? Suppose if you want to just don't want to inherit margin, you will inherit only the border. Okay, font weight and font style, by default they are inherited, and on top of that, border I'm inheriting. I saved it. See, now margin is removed, but there is a outer border. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, that is inheritance. Okay, specificity, time is over. So let us stop here. I want you to just please go through this code. Okay, try to see the book. Okay, try to work on coding part. Just listening or just reading will not help. I kept on repeating this. You have to practice. You should have a hands-on experience. Then only the concepts would be very clear. Okay, we will take up the specificity in the next